Hey, what is up guys, Zocro1923 here, and today's video is going to be a new video about the ban list that has to come out in January. So I will talk about my prediction and discuss a little bit about the cards that can be hit on the ban list or the cards that can be released from the ban list. So before we get started, please subscribe to the channel if you're not already, leave a like on the video and consider supporting us on the Facebook page, the Omnia Players, which is my competitive Yugioh team. And I also want to announce that now we are joined with the Absolute Zero Card Gaming. So basically the best players of the Absolute Zero Card Gaming joined the Omnia Players for the competitive side of the game. So that's a really good news, and we are growing up, and I'm so glad about that. So let's get started and let's see what we have to discuss, because there is really a lot to discuss in my opinion. So let's start from the monsters. The first monster I want to talk about is Mathematician. This card is really strong. It went on the ban list as well in the past, simply because it's a kind of generic foolish burial, and as you know, all the foolish burials are really strong in the game, and this card is being abused from the Orcus players nowadays, and it's considered to be a little bit stronger in respect of the scrap recycler. So I can see probably this card getting hit on the ban list once again, also to push the players to buy the new special editions, in which you can find the new scrap link monster, and in that way you are forced to play the scrap recycler, and maybe going back to play 3 copies of scrap recyclers, because now Mathematician is much more popular because of this card. There can be only one, since the Mathematician is not a machine monster. I don't know if they will hit this card. It will probably stay at 3, but I can see also why people are talking about this card. Then we got the Orcus Harp Horror. This one is one of the best cards of the Orcus, and is one of the strongest. You can special summon. I can see this card going at 1, because it's the best one, or Babel going to 0. So Babel Forbidden will be a nice hit in my opinion, because the problem with Orcus are that these cards are really strong, yes, but what makes them broken is that you can activate everything in the opponent's turn. So you can do really crazy plays also alongside using the IP Masquerena, which is one of the most popular link cards in the game nowadays. So a card like Babel that lets everything be quick effect is really crazy. So I can see also Babel going to 0, and maybe Harp Horror can stay at 3 in that scenario. So it will be a little bit harder to trigger your topologic stuff, the Bomber Dragon, Zeroboros, which are really crazy play if you do them in the opponent's turn. You still have the G-Smack though, but it's not the same. Then talking about Sky Strikers, people are talking about Engage and or Hornet Drones. So what will happen? I think that actually Hornet Drones will get banned. Why? Because they have to release the Sky Striker Rose, which is actually it works like Hornet Drones in a certain way. So I think that in this way they will hit the Hornet Drones, banning Hornet Drones, and push again the players to buy the new Sky Striker stuff, and forcing them to play Sky Striker Ace Rose instead. So Engage deserves to be hit on the ban list, I'm sure about that. A lot of people will not agree with me, I don't know why, but this card is really overpowered. And this card is splashable in all the other decks. That's another huge problem. And I think that this card will be hit, but if they decide to put Hornet Drones at 0, I still have this little idea in my head it is just my idea that probably they will hit Hornet drones, leave engage at 3 once again so they can sell the new Sky Striker support, and then I will add also this opinion, which is really crazy. They will probably print this card in Ultimate Rare in the next OTS packs. It will be really crazy, and I think that the player base will really love to see this card in Ultimate Rare. Will be really crazy. And then after the Ultimate printing, they will hit engage on the ban list, maybe put it at 2 or at 1. So the good thing to do is put in this card at least at 2, so you can still recycle it, still activate a couple of them in one turn, but you thin the chances to draw this card. Then we got the Mystic Mine. It's not being relevant anymore, at least it seems like that. It's the same for the Sir Yugioh, but this doesn't mean that these cards are not overpowered. So Mystic Mine is being such a huge problem for a lot of time, and this card is crazy because it's able by itself to literally stop the opponent's plays, and this is related to Metaverse as well. So if they decide to ban Mystic Mine once for all, I guess that Metaverse can come back to 3. Maybe it can help some other strategies having Metaverse to 3, but I don't know what they will do. I think that they will probably do nothing about both Mystic Mine and Metaverse. But the reasoning behind this is that if you want to put this at 0, this can come back at 3. Then the only trap card I decided to talk about is There Can Be Only One. This card is one of the best and abused floodgates in this Yu-Gi-Oh era. Why this happened? Because this is considered way much stronger than the Rivalry of the Warlords or Goes a Match. This card is played a lot in the Sky Striker builds, in True Draco builds, seen tons of side deck playing as well, but mostly in the main deck. This card can literally shut down the opponent's plays and forces the opponent to send to the graveyard other monsters, or doesn't allow him to summon another monster of the same type that already has. So there's pretty much no way to get rid of this card, and this card can really win games by itself. So I can see this maybe going to 2 or 1, I guess, but I think that nothing will happen about this card. Then for the extra deck monsters, we got the Thunder Dragon Colossus. This card is way too strong. I think that in the OCG this card is at 1 and the deck is still playable, and it also has other hits that here Thunder Dragon doesn't have. So if you want to put in check also, if you want to put in check Sky Strikers, Orcust and stuff like that, I think you have to put in check also the Thunder Dragons, because this deck is always in the meta game, and all these decks are really old for this meta game. So Sky Strikers has seen like 2 years of play now. It's really crazy, and will play again after this ban list because of the supports. And it's kind of the same for Thunder Dragons. It's not as a cancer as Sky Striker is, it's not as popular as Sky Striker is, it's not splashable as Sky Striker is, but it's still a strong deck, and have to deal, if the opponent has to deal with triple Colossus on the field, it's pretty hard. If there is one Colossus to deal with, I think it will be much more balanced. Then for the same reasoning, if you want to put in check all the decks, I think that you can also put in check Salamangreats in some way. Some people is talking about Spinny, but I don't think so. Probably Wolf, maybe putting Wolf to 2, even if it won't change so much, but it forces you to recycle it a little bit earlier. And someone else is also talking about Banelings, but I don't think they will hit Banelings. So overall, I don't think they will hit Salamangreats, but if they have to hit something, I think that Wolf would be a good choice. Then Yugioh is kind of the same reasoning of Mystic Mine. Is such a strong card that is not played anymore. There are no more danger FTKs, triple Yugioh, but I think that this card deserves to go to 1, and I don't know why it's still at 3, because being able to draw 12 cards, because you activated 3 Sir Yugiohs is a little bit crazy. I think you can agree with me. Then, for the last part of the discussion, I want to talk about the cards that can increase in number or be released from the limit regulation. So the first card is Sea Diva. I am a mermaid lover, but that's not the reason why I'm talking about Sea Diva. As you should know, they will release some really crazy support for the mermaids Atlanteans, and in particular about the deep sea that now is an archetype on its own. So there will be a new spell card that is able to add Deep Sea Diva and Neptabis directly from your deck by banishing one water monster from your graveyard. So I can see Deep Sea Diva going to 2 for 2 reasons. So the first reason is because this just happened in the OCG. If you see the OCG Banlist Diva went to 2, and the second reason is because they will push the players once again to play this archetype and to buy the new booster boxes. And will be really glad. I will be really glad to see this deck once again. We saw the resurgence of Shadows because we will have the structure deck. So the thing that now we see that Deep Sea is getting a new archetype that support mermaids. Let me think that we can see this really old format coming back with Shadows, Necros, and mermaids as well. And that's the reason why there's also the Necros of Unicorn. As you can see now, Necros is climbing up a little bit as a rogue deck in the big events as well. And as you noticed, they are releasing all the Necros cards one by one. So I think that the next one will be Unicorn. We can see Unicorn going to 2, and this happened also in the OCG ban list as well. Then we have the Dark Arm Dragon. It went to 2, nothing changed, so let's just put this to 3. Then we got the Dragon Rulers. So what can happen is here, in this scenario, is that it can release Redox because there were some rock support and some new rock support is about to come. They can release Tidal because if they want to push the Deep Sea archetype and mermaids, or they can release the other one, the fire one, but I don't know. I think that for now nothing will happen, but probably Redox is gonna be the first one, then Tidal, I guess, and probably the fire one, the blaster as the last one. As you know, is going to be released also the water charmer and even the earth charmer, I guess. So when the wind charmer was released, they released from the regulation the Tempest Dragon Ruler. So that can be a hint. I already talked about the Necklace of Unicorn. Then we got Zodiac Trident. This card has been discussed for a long time, and a lot of people want to see this card coming back of the list so bad, and that's what happened in the OCG ban list. So Trident who won. I don't think it will be healthy for the metagame. I don't think this alone will change so much as well though. So probably we can see this card going back to 1 and see what happens. If something bad happens, just put it back, but I don't think that 1 Trident alone can change everything. Then we got the Harpies Feather Duster. That's why there are a lot, that's because this pick is because there are a lot of set 5 pass decks. There are a lot of strong floodgates as this one, and Konami is going to release a new Feather Duster / Raigeki card. So they can do 2 things. They can unban Feather Duster so everyone can play it. Probably a lot of players got 1 Feather Duster in their binders. Or they can decide to let this card stay banned in order to force the players to buy the new Feather Duster card. And then I already talked about the metaverse, so I don't think there is so much to add about this card. So that's it for today, basically. Let me know what do you think, what are your wishes and your prediction for this ban list that will be dropped on January. And as I said before, follow us on Facebook, the Omnia Players, and subscribe on the YouTube channel Okram1993 and leave a like on the video if you find it informative. And see you in the next one.